Welcome to Dare to Be Us. Hi, I'm Ruth, founder of The Corner Peach and the host of Dare to Be Us. Welcome back to Dare to Be Us, the podcast where we explore the places that psychology, spirituality, and the unseen world overlap. Today's guest is someone whose story moves between the physical world and on the other side. She's a clairvoyant, paranormal investigator, a hypnotherapist with past regressions, and a mother whose deepest pain led her into her purpose, right? So welcome, Elaine. Before we start, would you like to I don't know if you have any socials, if you want to, have anything that you want to know that people can just look for you?
Well, I have the Facebook page, Psychic Medium Elaine Hale, and then I'm also on we do group readings with another two girls, and that's the Triangles of Light page. So those two pages are what I have right now. I do have Instagram, but I don't use it very much, and I'm just actually taking a course on social media and small business. So I'll be actually making a web page soon.
And perfect. Okay, well, I will leave all the links right there in the comments. So you guys, if you would like the reading, if you would like hypnosis, past regression hypnosis, Elaine here, she's your girl. So let's start the conversation, okay? Thank you so much, first of all, to open yourself, right? To be here to talk about this so deeply. So always first wanted to say thank you to you guys, because you are here with me in a really vulnerable situation, and I appreciate that you want to be sitting here and be, listen, so people can listen and learn from your story, and as well to get your knowledge and your spirit guidance.
Well, thank you for having us here, or having this podcast, and getting messages out there that need to be heard. So
yeah, they need to be heard, right? So I understand that you were raised by your by your mom, and your grandma was living right next to you, right?
Correct, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your story with your mom. How was your childhood? How, everything that has started to lead you to paranormal activities, right?
So my mom was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia at a very young age, I think, as I've been told, when she was about 8 or 9, which is very young for someone to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. But so she lived. My dad passed when I was 15 years old, and we lived in the same yard as my grandmother. So my grandmother's house was in front of ours, and we were behind. And my grandpa died when I was about 9. So mom would spend periods of time in the hospital, either for medications changes, or just because she wasn't doing very well, and it would be sometimes long periods of time. So we were raised kind of co-parently. I call my grandma my second mom, because she kind of raised us a lot of the time. And she was single and on her own, and my mom was single and on her own when I was 15. But as with the older generation, my grandmother always had if anybody passed in her family, they would hold the wake in her home. So she would have them in her house. So they would be laid out, all the visitation would be in the house, and they would be there in the casket, and we would be living with her at the times that our ancestors, our cousins, our aunts, my dad, my grandpa, and all that were waked in her home. So there were, as you can imagine, there was a lot of stuff that used to go on in her home, because the dead don't go right away sometimes. So things would go missing, and then they'd show up again in different spots. Or when you go upstairs, the hair would raise on the back of your neck. My grandmother didn't like going upstairs, although that's where her bedroom and Grandpa's bedroom was.
Wow.
But I used to sleep in my grandmother's bedroom when we stayed there, and I never liked Grandpa's room. Not that Grandpa was a bad guy, he wasn't. He was very kind, very generous, and from what I remember of him. I don't remember a lot of him,
Mm-hmm.
but he was a good man. But that room always kind of creeped me out, and I would sleep with my back towards the doorway because it was like an open doorway, joined rooms, open doorway.
So it was a joint room. They didn't sleep together.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know, I think it's the older generation thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was called Grampy's room, so I assume it was Grampy's room, and all of his stuff was in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I never liked the energy in that room for some reason. So I don't know if that's where all the spirits spent their time.
Still, yes, I was gonna say you still don't, because when we're kids, we don't really, or we cannot put words into that, and we can really have the knowledge of what's going on. So my question is, were you able, now that you are a grown up, that you can understand a little bit more about that? Do you know?
Oh yeah, I understand that a lot more than I did back then. Then it was kind of scary. Now I don't fear it.
Yeah.
But I've had other instances where things would happen, and just general feelings of being unease when I was in places that nobody else was around.
Yeah.
And at one time I heard footsteps on the beach. You could hear the gravel crunching when I was in the car, walking around the car. I got out of there pretty fast. That was when I was younger. So yeah, so I've had experiences most of my life, but I never really knew much about it or looked too much into it.
Yeah.
So, and also now, that I'm older and I understand the way the spirit world is, and vibration and energy, and how communication works with the other side. I feel like my mom and my grandmother were also connected, and I feel like schizophrenia isn't exactly. I think mom was just so open because just the gifts she used to give were kind of like, my mom kind of gave odd gifts anyway, but now that I look back on it, it was things that were spiritual, right? Things that were indigenous or spiritual, and she really took to the indigenous culture. So, and then my daughter did as well. So it was just kind of now that I look back at these things, I realize what was going on. But at the time, when you're younger, you don't really understand it as much. There's something not quite right, or there's something there, but it's not always identifiable to you because you don't have the knowledge, right? You
don't have the knowledge. Yes. It's just like my son. I feel that he's really sensitive with spirit, right? And I've always been as well since I was a little kid, and I remember feeling something that was right there in my grandparents. The same, I felt an energy. It was horrible, downstairs, a basement they had. It was they played the Ouija there, so the energy kind of stayed there really, really bad. So I was always feeling that. And my son, he's the same. And sometimes he's like, nope, in the night, and he just go right upstairs. But yeah, so I want to ask you about, because you mentioned as well when we had our pre-interview that was a place, or your grandma's place was where they used to have your loved ones when they're transcend. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it just became normal for me. Some people today would probably think that's not too normal, but it just became normal to me. I just it just was a normal way of life because there was never really a big deal made about it. It was just accepted in our family that's when someone passed away, that's where they would be. So they clear out the parlor, and that's where everybody would be. So it was a normal way of life for me. So I didn't fear the dead at all. I didn't fear them being there. I was not creeped out about it. I was like, they're your loved ones. They're it's it just was a normal way of life. That's the best way I can explain that.
But you were a kid, right?
I was a kid. Yeah.
You were a kid, and I'm guessing you were kind of afraid at that moment because you didn't know. Were you where you had an experience when you were a kid where you were able to see one of your loved ones when when they were there?
No, I never did see one of my loved ones. I felt comfort though. I did feel comforted, like comfort. I never felt fear of having any of the bodies in the home, like any of the deceased ones in the home. I didn't fear that. I felt comfort for it because they were still there in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like now, looking back on it, that it was them giving the comfort, right? Because they were around.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't identify it as feeling them or seeing them at that time.
Yeah. So what I'm really curious why your grandma didn't like to be upstairs in her own room. Was she able as well to feel?
She slept on the couch as far back as I
Really?
can remember. My grandmother said she would not sleep in a bed after my grandfather died.
Do you know why?
No, I don't know why, but she lived until she was 99. She was almost 100. She would have been 100 a couple months after she passed, and she lived on her own all of that time.
Wow.
But no, she would not go into a bedroom or sleep in a bedroom. I don't know if it's because she felt the spirits there or the spirit, but no, she slept on the couch for the remainder of her life after my grandfather died, which was quite extensive, like over 30 years, right? So
now that you understand that, it's the energies of the spirits that are there, do you understand what was the energy that you felt upstairs as well? It was your grandpa, because you're telling me, okay, your grandpa was a really good man, but was there anything else there than you? I'm assuming your grandpa was maybe there, or
his energy, his vibration or energy.
Yes.
I don't feel like he was earthbound. I feel he went over to the other side. So I'm not sure what the energy was that was there. It could have been energy of fear, right? Or fear that was ramping the energy up, or the fear of somebody who was afraid of the room. Could have been my own fear being reflected back to me.
Wow.
So yeah. So fear will create energy, or it will create a vibration, and it'll amp up with fear. So if you don't fear it, like there's nothing to fear but fear itself, is what I say. I don't fear the unknown. I don't fear the other side. I don't fear earthbounds. I just don't live in fear that way anymore. So
when did you start to not have that fear?
When I started on this spiritual path that I started on, when I started looking for answers after my daughter passed, I started looking into, I need to know where she went. I need to because she was sending me signs all of the time, like sign after sign after sign after sign. And so I went searching for answers. I need to know where she is, because we grew up with religion. My grandmother was religious and she read the Bible every night, but I just did not.
It didn't fit with you.
It didn't fit with me like that. And I studied a lot of religions as I got older. I studied a lot of the Buddhism, Wiccan, Baptist, Catholic, Tibetan, monk, the monks. I studied a lot of that, but I could never resonate with a lot of it, because I just felt there was nothing to, like, you shouldn't fear God. Like, I believe in God, or the creator or source, or whatever it is that anybody calls the
source,
the
God,
source,
yes,
God, whatever you choose to call him, it's
yes,
the same, right?
Yes. In all religions, right? Like, I see how much the religions are so close. They think that they're not, but in the same, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's just one. It's the same.
It's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just written in different ways with different rules and different ways of different ways of preaching. But I could never get behind the fire and brimstone. Yeah. I just couldn't get behind if God is all loving, why would he punish people? Like,
right? Yes.
So I couldn't get behind that part of it, and just couldn't believe there was a hell. I couldn't believe that there was, that all loving God would send people to hell, to burn in hell. I just couldn't believe it. So
yes, definitely. For me, that has been something that has never ever make sense as well. It's like, how can a God with such love, with such energy, with such I feel that it covers you with that energy of love. Like I cannot understand how a God could judge or tell you that this is not right. I'm not gonna say something. I want to be really respectful with this, but but for example, not just the fact that they say, "Oh yes, you're going to hell," right? Or it's if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do that, you're going to hell, right? For example, with LGBT people as well, right? Like so many religions as well. It's like if you are, then you're going to be in hell and things like that. And for me, it just doesn't make any sense that a God, a source with so much love, that in the end, it's you.
Yeah.
It's you, God, and you are the same. God and you are the same. God and everyone is one self, that you're connected with that. So
we carry a piece of the source with us. I mean, it states in the Bible, and I do get behind this one, is that we were made in God's image, and his image is light and love. So we are light and love, and we carry a piece of God with us, within us, and that's the spark of the light and love. So,
yes. So for me, it just doesn't make sense. And I want to go back a little bit about your mom, because you said that your mom was diagnosed with schizophrenic. Not sure. I mean, because you told me that your mom, or you feel that your mom was really as well connected with spirit, right? And I didn't understand, but when in our pre-interview, you mentioned something about your mom feeling really connected with the spirit, and you were kind of questioning, is it schizophrenia? Because that's something that as well. I know that there's the vessel. I know that there are substance in the brain that makes us have
imbalance.
Different diagnoses, right? But I wonder as well, is it really something that is chaotic, something that really makes it, because that's what it is. And like I said, really with respect, because I have as well people with neurological diagnosis within my family. What schizophrenia is one of those as well. And like I wonder if it's if it's just, they call it crazy, right? Like people call it crazy. You're schizophrenic, then you're crazy, right? You're but it's really, for me, it's like it doesn't make sense as well.
It's your brain works in a different way, right?
Exactly.
Like, so in my feelings, and this is my opinion of my mom from the years of living with my mom, is that she was open, but she was open more than, she didn't know how to control who was coming through, because she never had the knowledge. We didn't talk about those things back then. You were diagnosed with mental health issues, schizophrenia, bipolar, that kind of thing. But if you have where is the imbalance? They didn't look at where the imbalance was coming in the brain. They just said it was chemicals imbalances in the brain. Yeah. So is that imbalance coming from being like your third eye being too wide open, your pineal gland, your pituitary gland? Like, is it coming from those places? Is there those two wide open? So if they're so wide open that you are getting not only the good or the positive and the positive energies, but the negative energies can also enter if you're too open and you don't know how to control the flow of information coming into you. Yes. So they say schizophrenias will hear voices of saying you need to hurt this person or hurt that person. My mom would never hurt a flea, like never. She was a very kind lady. She would give the shirt off her back to anybody. She loved her family dearly, but she had her little nuances where she didn't like certain people. But it was people who were a like kind of obsessious or obnoxious type of people is who she, or had way more than what she ever had, that she
Okay.
kind of ended up having a prejudice towards in life, or being upset by them, or she never liked the show Storage Wars because it was selling other people's stuff. She did not like those kinds of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I feel like with schizophrenia, more needs to be done to look into it, to be actually mapping the brain to see exactly what's going on in the brain, to identify if these people are more like open than they need to be, or and it's more widely talked about today. And you
Yeah.
do read about people doing some research with schizophrenia in that same light.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that in the
That's why I say
future.
thank you the
Yeah,
other day. It's like, yes,
yeah.
thank you for understanding that. Sorry,
Mhm.
sorry,
Oh, no, no.
I
So
interrupted
in
you.
the future, I really hope that they do identify more about schizophrenia and the connection to spirit,
Mhm.
and how that actually is a link, right? Because I do feel there's more to be said on that.
Yes, yes,
Mm,
and I kind of like I want to bring this up to
mm,
have a little bit of awareness. I know that we're going a little bit off the what we are
okay.
talking, but I just want to bring really fast awareness on this, because I feel that it it's time to have science with spirituality, right? Because I feel that we're gonna be able to understand more the science when we have the spirituality and have these standards, or have these um, biases, or um, theories that they're not really fitting to the diagnosed with the schizophrenia, with bipolar. Like everyone, it's like you say, it's everyone, it's wired different. You never know why, these people are actually were meant to have this different wire, or they already are capable, their vessels are already capable to actually come into this life to do that,
Mm,
right? To be open with your third eye, the spinal, like you were
mhm,
saying, and not just get rid of that. um I can't find the word for this.
stigma.
Yes, stigma.
Okay.
Yes,
Mm,
stigma. To actually, start seeing that as a crazy, as uh you know people that can see things, voices. For me, it's like maybe they're really, really, really close to spirit. They are able to listen to what the other people are not. Their bodies, not because we're not designed for that, because I feel that we are all designed for that. Dolores Cannon say that, right? That we are all come with that. It's our DNA. It's it's designed for that,
yes.
right? But so I feel, again, consider that, hopefully that science start merging that with spirituality, because I feel that we're going to have more answers, more understanding, more compassion, more love, and people's going to start, open up more.
So yeah, and I agree with that too. But and again, in today's world, if I was if I did what I did now back in Mom's world and the day and
Mm-hmm.
age that she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, I'd probably be diagnosed with it as well, because I was a child of a schizophrenia, so it shows up in family lines, right? Because I have a brother also as well who
Mm-hmm.
has schizophrenia, and he got it way late in life, right, in his 30s. So just to say, like, the times have changed so much, and it is going that way, that I am able to do what I am doing now
Mm-hmm.
without being labeled as having a mental illness of hearing voices or seeing,
Mm-hmm.
spirit or speaking to spirit. So, it has come a long ways, and it has a long ways to go though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it has a lot, and um, yeah, I just feel that we're more closer for that now, that people, I just see that how people is just getting this awakening,
Mm,
not just in mental health, trying to get rid of all these biases, but as well in a spiritual way where people are becoming more awakening. So thank you for taking that moment to have that awareness. So let's talk about your mom. So why did it take her to have, that diagnosed? What did someone was kind of like saying to her, hey, you need to go because you are sorry, right? Like with respect, right? Because I know that people just get this stigma, right? Oh, because you're crazy, right? Or because you need, this is not normal. You're not a normal person. What did you know?
What happened?
What happened?
I don't know the whole story. All I know is what mom said a few times. Like she said, so she went to Newfoundland to visit family, and she said she wished she'd never gone because when she came back, she was never the same. I don't know if something happened to her over there that caused her to become who she became, but it was at a very young age. And she also lived with her aunt. Like she wasn't raised by her mom and dad. She lived with her aunt, and I don't know a lot about that side of the family because they kind of like were absent most of our lifetime. I know, one of my aunts better than the rest because she's only a couple of years older than me. And I knew my grandma a little bit. My grandma and my grandpa I didn't know at all because they separated when I was young. But they weren't really present in her life either. Like once she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, she went to live with my aunt. So she lived with my aunt, and then my dad met her, and she was in the Nova Scotia for something. My dad was there; he was working there. They met, and then the rest is history. Dad fell in love with her. They got married. They had 6 kids, and the life that we had was never, it wasn't easy as we were younger. But that's about the only part of the story I know, is that she said she went to Newfoundland, and she said she wished she never went when she was young because she said when she came back, she was never the same. So
your mom's still alive?
No, my mom passed during COVID in 2021.
Okay. And you never get to talk to her with this kind of situation?
No, because she was in long-term care for a lot of the time. And then I started out on my journey in 2017 when my daughter passed away. So my mom took that very hard. She couldn't even go to the funeral. She loved it. She loved my daughter, like absolutely adored her because she understood her in a way I did not understand her, right? So, I mean, I understood my daughter, but my mom had that connection with, she knew what was going on with her more than I could only see what she was doing, like, which was she had a really bad drug addiction. But mom she saw underneath all of that. And she had a real deep connection with my daughter. So she couldn't even go to my daughter's funeral. I mean, she came to my house, she stayed with me, but when it's time to get ready to go, she just didn't want to do it. And I said, Mom, it's okay. She'd understand. You can stay here. We'll see you when you come home, right? Wow. So she didn't go, and that was fine with me.
You're making me emotional.
So, that connection between my daughter, who also had bipolar, who had was diagnosed with bipolar.
That's why the connection.
Oppositional defiance disorder and all that kind of stuff. She started out in drugs really young, and it was a very rocky road for us. I mean, I tried everything I could to help her, but she died of a drug overdose in June of 2017. And from there, that's kind of where my whole path started. And I know now something I didn't know then because I was in deep grief. I know now that it was a catalyst to where I was supposed to go. A hard way to learn the lesson. But she definitely made sure that I knew she was okay, because she would send me signs after sign after sign. So the first sign I had with her, which is I was military I was in the military, served for 30 years, and 9/11, who doesn't remember where they were in 9/11, right? Yes. And when she passed, I knew it was the middle of the night because I sat up on the bed, and I couldn't understand why I was so upset and why I was so confused. And I think she had come to visit me, come to say goodbye to me as she was going up and to the other side. And in the morning is when I found out that she had passed. And when they come to informed me, they said she was pronounced at 9/11. And I was like, what? Because it's like that number just it resonates with a lot.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
a number nobody's going to ever forget.
Mhm.
Not just because it's an emergency number, but also because it's the number for the, to change the
9/11.
world, right?
Yes, the 9/11.
Yeah. So that number comes up for me all the time when I'm thinking about her. I look at the clock, 9/11's there. So I'll always say, I love you too, Shaughnessy, because she's like, that was my daughter's name, Shaughnessy. So that number comes up for me a lot. And when I was doing my numerology, I actually found out that my service number, which is my number in the military, we don't use SIN numbers, we use service numbers. When I did the numerology on my service number, it comes out to 9/11.
Oh my God.
So that number is very significant, and it is an angel number. So it's a very significant angel number, not one that's well known, but it is a significant angel number.
The
It's a connection. It's connection, right? It's all about connection to the other side. And she sent me monarch butterflies. Like, you don't see monarch butterflies very much in Nova Scotia, one here or there, right? But that summer they were everywhere. That, like, just after she passed, and my sister was driving up to my place, and she drove through a swarm of monarch butterflies.
What?
Yeah, a swarm of them.
Wow.
So, and then I was looking for a picture for her obituary, and this was like 2 days. I had to take it to the funeral home, and then it was 2 days after she passed, so that they could get the obituary out, or the day after she passed. And I didn't have a lot of pictures of her because, of course, she had been in and out, like just in and out of my life a lot. So I didn't have recent good pictures of her. I had lots of baby pictures, teenage pictures, but not a lot of recent pictures. So I was kind of stressing about it, and I heard her say, like, to me, clairaudiently, "Mom, calm down, go downstairs in my stuff. You'll find what you're looking for." So I was like, I took a deep breath, I went downstairs, opened one of the bins that I had picked up of hers. And there on the top was a picture I'd never seen before of her. I was like, oh, that's a good picture. So I took that picture. It was this tiny little picture. And I go to the funeral home, and her father and I had separated long before that, when she was 5. And when we both showed up at the funeral home that day to do the obituary, and didn't he bring the exact same picture to the funeral home? So it's like, okay, what is going on here? Like, it's just too many coincidences. Well, not really synchronicities.
Yes, synchronicities.
To actually, like, ignore. So, and then the other thing was her best friend, the only person who never turned her back on her, came. I paid for her to come down for the funeral because she lived in Fredericton, we were posted there at the time, when she started doing the drugs. But they have never lost that connection, even though she had lost a lot of connections. The two of them have remained friends, and she's really the only one that came to the funerals. But she's single mom, doesn't have a lot of money, so I paid for her to come down. We booked a hotel room for her because I didn't have room at the house because all my family was there. And my brother took her over to the hotel room, and I said, get the room number for me so that I know, where she is in the morning to pick her up. And when he came back, he says, "This is room 333, another angel number," right? So
I know, and I see that number a lot. What is it?
333 is the Ascendant Masters are with you. I think that's the one. The 444 is the angels are with you. 222 is change. 555 is big change. 999 is the ending of certain things. Like, so,
all of those numbers. I do. 999. I stopped seeing it, and just like you say, I feel that it was like a really big change of my life when I divorced. And I see it. I saw that number a lot, but I keep seeing the 222, 333, 444, like a lot.
And that's another number. 222 was the first number I saw when the first thing I saw that I actually paid attention to the morning that she passed is I was driving back. Like, I got the news, I was driving to work, and all of a sudden it was 222 everywhere. 222 on a sign, 222 on somebody's car. Like, I was like, what's going on with the 222, right? So so that was the very first thing I got, but it just kept going and going. And I mean, there's lots of signs that she sent me.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. At that time, you didn't know exactly what that meant because you were not in this path.
I didn't know what it meant, but I know that it caught my attention, right? They just oddly caught my attention. It's like, why am I paying attention to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that oddly caught my attention. And she showed up in a dream too, also, like, to let me know she was okay, because my sister told her she had to come and let me know she was okay. So she showed up in a dream. So it was a short visitation. 2 weeks after she passed, she showed up to let me know she was okay, with my sister in a dream. So it's like, so that
Yeah,
connection
and a
was
connection.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but she was really the catalyst that pushed me into this path. And like they say, when you're, the teacher, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that's how I ended up in Sean's tribe, Spirit Talker tribe. That's how I ended up knowing Anne and Vanessa, because we met the same year. We joined the same year. We met the same year. We started reading together as a trio, as the Triangles of Light. And I learned how to connect to the spirit world in the right way, because again, the only thing I ever really feared about anything at the very beginning is like, okay, am I gonna is this going to be schizophrenia? Like I was like, I feared that, right?
Oh, you fear that you were diagnosed.
Yeah.
So you were
no, I didn't fear that I was going to be diagnosed. I just feared, the only thing I feared was the fact that schizophrenia was in our family. And if I went into this too deep, would I bring about the schizophrenia? Does it make sense to you what I mean?
Yeah, but
but then I learned later that I like, that's, my eyes were open later about the schizophrenia and the connection with my mom, and how it's spiritual. Because at that time when I first started, I didn't know those. I didn't have that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I want to understand a little bit of why do you think it led you to this? What do you think your daughter had the purpose in this life? Because right now, do you see that as her purpose of life was to take you towards that path?
Well, she picked a really hard path in this lifetime, because we do choose our paths when we come in. You pick your parents, you pick your family, you pick your path.
Yes.
And she chose a really hard one, but part of her path was to open me. So, and I know that without a doubt now, that was part of her path. And I don't, I grieve her passing. I miss her, but I know she's always there, because I feel her, I see her.
You
sometimes.
have accepted and embraced that, and know that now that you know more about how life, how the soul and how lives connect to your purpose, right? When you come into this life with a different vessel, right? Because with all these life experiences that you have, right, as a soul. But I want to understand how do you think? Because you're saying, okay, she decided, or she got come into this life to have a purpose in this life, and you said that it was really a hard one. That in the end it took you to this path, right? So how do you think that this take you to the path? I'm trying to make sense with what I'm trying to say, because I don't know if before, during her life, what was her life that in some shape or form it actually mirrored to you.
Okay. So my daughter was a very kind individual, even though she was down deep into the drugs and doing a lot of things,
to do with
right?
That. Yes.
She was a very kind individual. She was a very talented writer. She was an extremely good artist. She could have done many things with her life, but she refused to leave her friends down in the dump. So she would get clean, and she would, but she'd inevitably go back to it, because she felt she was leaving her friends that she could help behind. So she would take the brunt of. So she would go to jail for other people, so they wouldn't have to go, right? So she was such a kind individual that she just couldn't see her friends, like the people she had connections with.
So she would take responsibility for people that she would love.
And she's still doing that from the other side. She's still helping drug addicts from the other side. So
why do you think that she decided to put herself into this into these situations, right?
I don't know. She was really mad when her father and I separated, and her father ended up with custody of her because he was I don't want to be derogatory, so I'm not going to be derogatory, and I'm not going to be judgmental about
No,
anything
yeah.
here. But he ended up with custody of her because of my circumstances at the time, without a job, without a place to live. When I separated from him, I left. I didn't take anything. I didn't take, I didn't take money from her. Didn't
Is
take
she your
anything.
only daughter?
I have a son as well, but she is my only daughter. The son's from a different father.
Oh.
So they're half brother and sister. And she absolutely adored her brother. She would have done anything for him, but she was just, things happened, I think. Then she just didn't want to feel. That's what she used to tell me. She just didn't want to feel anything. That's why she went where she went. So, and her, like, she loved her father, she loved me, but she didn't like the fact that we were not together anymore. I don't know why that bothered her so much, but it did. And she just ended up with the wrong group of people. Like, we moved out to the country in the middle of nowhere, hoping to keep her out of that in the military environment, and she ended up in it anyway. So I know it was a destined path for her, something that she was supposed to go through. I don't know if she was supposed to overcome it. Who knows? What was supposed to happen in life.
It wasn't. It was supposed to be
but
like
she
this.
taught me many things, because at points in her life, I would be out looking for her in the middle of the night when she was a young teenager, because I hadn't heard from her, that kind of thing. So it was very stressful for me, but it also taught me a lot of things, because I kind of was, even though I didn't do drugs, I was kind of in it with her, right?
Yeah.
So I got to know what was going on with the homeless people and the people in the drug community, and what their, like, kind of what their sad stories were, which was knowledge I needed to be where I am now, right? It was things I needed to learn to be able to, I guess, be of service in the way that I'm in service now. It's understanding and knowledge I needed to have, right?
And I guess as well, I mean, this is my experience, because as well now I am kind of like understand where people come from, and like for what you're telling me, your daughter was a beautiful human being, right? And there's so many beautiful human beings that right now they're struggling a lot with mental health, with so many biases that are out there within the society. I just keep saying this because it's just, for me, the way I see life and the way I've seen within my own path is how much the silence that family used to have, because no, this is we can talk about this with the child. Oh, no, they're not going to be able to understand. Or biases where it's like, oh no, you're not good enough, or because we reflect, sometimes we mirror, we project with our own suffering that we don't really actually understand until we go inside, until we want to go and see our soul inside and understand in a compassionate way about where they come from, right? Like where people comes from, and say, oh, okay, well, this person is just pushing me to this because they were raised that this was the right thing to do. But was it, right? So there's so many biases, right, that in the end it actually not it, right now I feel that part of the awakening as well, it's in that sense, in that mental sense, where we can actually understand better, where we need to actually start talking uncomfortable, having uncomfortable conversations, because when you have those uncomfortable conversations and you're in a mindset of, let's not take personal things, let's take things as facts, right? Like when you are doing when you want to know about numbers, and it's like, okay, how do you understand? Let's put this, let's facts, is this, oh, okay, well, let's change this to be able to work this out, right? And just to discern more so we
Yeah.
can understand more. And from there, it starts with the spiritual path as well, right? So and I'm saying all this because sometimes we don't understand why people do what they do, right? And it just hurt us. And I don't know where you were in that point when your daughter was doing all of this and you were in pain, obviously because of your daughter seeing that, that she was in this path. And in the end, it takes you to understand her even more, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I did, all the things a mother would do. I tried to support her. I tried to help her. I tried to, make her see, what she was doing was wrong. But in the end, anybody who's an addict, it's up to them, right?
Yeah.
You can do everything, say everything right, do everything right. But in the end, if they don't want help, then you're not going to get them to do something they're not going to want to do, right?
Yes, yes.
So she had my daughter was very willful. I was she had her personality was very strong, and it still is on the other side. And she was opinionated, and she was not going to do something that she didn't want to
like.
do,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And she'd be ready at points, and she'd go into detox, and she'd come out and she'd have all the best intentions,
Yes.
and say, Mom, I want to do this. And she's like wrote poetry and all this kind of stuff. And she would write me all the time.
Wow.
And I have a lot of letters with poems written on that she wrote to me, or drawings that she did for me. There's she had the most like beautiful writing I've ever seen in my life.
That
Like,
was
it's just,
her
yeah,
love language to
yes,
express what she was feeling,
yes.
right?
So yeah, in the end, though, you can't make somebody do something.
Yeah.
It's up to them, right?
Yeah.
It's on them to decide what's right for them.
Yeah.
And so I've made my peace with, and I don't I don't do should, coulda, woulda, right? Because I know I did everything I could. I knew as her mom. The only thing I could do was be there for her and support her and be there when she needed me. And that I did do right up until the very end.
Yeah.
So,
and that's good that you acknowledge that to yourself, not to not to anyone, but to yourself.
Yeah.
To be okay with yourself, with what you were able to do for her, for you, because you are individual as well. Even though, like, I feel that sometimes as moms, we get a little bit of judgmental because of like, why didn't you do this for your kid? It was the best thing. But is it? Where are you as a mom, as an individual, as a person as well? Where are your mental health? So give a little bit of space as well for that, right? And so it's good that as a mom you are acknowledged, as a person you are acknowledged. I did this, and I'm okay with this, and this took me towards this, where now I'm able to help not just her to understand her, but as well other people, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of reading. Actually, it's funny because, and I don't mean funny in the kind of way that it's like funny, but I just mean that it's kind of a big synchronicity that I end up doing a lot of readings for people who have lost their children to drug overdoses. So they get sent to me. Like, there's no coincidence. It's synchronicity. They get sent because I understand what they're going through, because I understand what they've done and what they've been through. And I can understand what their children are trying to say from the other side, right?
Yes.
So, and
to have closure with themselves as well.
And my daughter helps me with that. So, from there, she's still fighting for the drug addicts on the other side. She's still trying to help them from the other side. Well, I don't want to get into any names or specifics, but there have been a few people who have told me that, that have had a child that has drug issue, that they've turned their lives around, and they have a connection with my daughter. So that's like they have also abilities, and they've had a connection with my daughter. So Shaughnessy kind of helps them from the other side, and she kind of shows up to them spiritually as well, to say, I'm here, or to give me a message, or say hi, Mom, to me through them, right? Like, kind of thing. So I do believe she is helping people from the other side that had those kind of issues, trying to help them through it and trying to get them the help that they need so they can go on to their path in this life that they're supposed to be on. Because
Yes.
not everybody's supposed to die young. Like that's on, they're supposed to work their, it's part of their path to work through the issues that they've asked to work through in this lifetime to get where they're supposed to go, right?
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So not everybody is supposed to die of a drug overdose or, you know,
Yeah.
another. So yeah.
Uh, can you help me understand a little bit of why it's not supposed to? Or what is it? Because some of them, they're like maybe your daughter that was meant to have the overdose, or maybe the other ones they're not, because from their path takes them to an awakening. Is that maybe?
Well, we have when we come into life, we have a purpose, we have a
Yeah.
path, right? And
Mm-hmm.
how we get to where we're supposed to go is up to us because
Yeah.
we have free will. So there are many different paths you can take on life to get where you're supposed to go. You may end up going on a different fork and taking a long road around
Yeah.
to get where you're supposed to go, or you may go straight there.
Yeah.
But she, when she came into life, her purpose was probably to get where she was supposed to go. But I think she was not able to do so in this lifetime, so she took the road home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point she would have also been the catalyst to my awakening. It might not have been in that way. It might have been in a completely different way through her indigenous practices that she tried to teach me, that type of thing, because she used to smudge. I had no idea what smudging was, and she used to
Your
smudge.
daughter.
Yeah.
Wow. So
So
she already had that spirituality in her as well. That
yeah.
in Was it something that for you was like maybe you didn't understand at that point where it's like, why is she doing this? Why is she into this? Like,
Oh
what?
yeah, at the very beginning it was like, I don't understand. You weren't raised this way. Like, why is it that you can't sort yourself out? Why can't you get off this? But as I went along, I learned how an addiction, like how it works with the brain, how all of that, because it is something that is very hard to get out of. It's something that's very hard to move yourself out of, because an addiction is an addiction with anything: cigarettes, alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
sex, whatever, right?
Yes,
Like
yes,
it's
yes.
every, there's all sorts of addictions. Hers just happened to be one that was, detrimental to her health and detrimental to her survival. So
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Do you see how beautiful it is that you you got rid of your own biases? I'm just
yeah.
seeing this like right now. You're like, you weren't raised like this. What are you doing? This is smudging. What is this? It doesn't make it right,
Yeah.
right? And it's beautiful that you did that.
But she was also bi, so she was like, so I had that to learn to deal with as well. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
not that I was ever prejudiced about somebody who was bi, but I understand that in a greater way now because I know about past life experiences. You could be a male, you can be a female. So the more lives that you live as one or other of the sexes, then you can be prone to being attracted to that in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's like, so now I know these things. Knowledge has come to me through
Yeah.
understanding her. So
One of the things I now that you're saying, and I remember, I love talking about Dolores Cannon because she's my favorite of all. But one of the things I remember that she say, it's about the transgender and the people, the the LGBT and queer Q.
Yeah, there's a lot more
My
than
yes,
that.
my apologies. I want to be really respectful. So here, please, in the comments, if you need to educate me more, please do. Um, but I'm sorry, I lost the track of this.
Dolores
Yeah,
Cannon.
Dolores Cannon. So yes, Dolores Cannon. She says that with all of these past lives, one you get to be like uh, a female, a male, a female, a male, but sometimes they haven't been able to be a man, for example, and so when they come to this life and they are transgender, it's because of that, because they're so are asking for a male vessel, right? Because that's how they want to identify. They want to experience that life.
Yeah.
And if you see as well, for me, I see it like it's a big lesson as well. Like those beautiful souls are lessons as well for these matrix to help us understand more with more compassion, to see them, to see through that, right? To see the purpose of that as well. So and I remember one of the was it I don't know, but she was talking, and there's a video about that, and she's like, just let them be, just love them, right? Like don't judge them. Why are you judging? Right? Things like that, right? So I just wanted to put that just so people know and understand this has a deeper purpose in so many ways.
And you can't help if you spent most of your lifetimes as a female and you come into this lifetime as a male. How can you change what's in your makeup or your DNA from many lifetimes as a female to not be attracted to the same sex as what you were always attracted to in every lifetime, right? So it's, I definitely believe in that part of it, like highly believe in that we are destined to love who we love, right? And it doesn't matter who it is, and there should be no judgment. There shouldn't be judgment anyway. We're here for love.
Because in the end, you love the soul. You love more, right? You get past of what it is this, right? That love, that attraction, it just comes from that. So let's be more thoughtful on that. Let's be more loving, compassion, without judgments, right? And just see the purpose, embrace it, and love it.
Right? Yeah, you can't choose who you love, like, or who you're attracted
Definitely,
to. It's
yes.
So no, I agree with her in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've read all of Dolores Canyon's. I'm an avid reader and a researcher, so I've read a lot of her books. So like all of her books actually. So yeah.
I'm still trying to, because there's so many. Yeah. But I think I've already I've read like 3 or 4 already. Well, I listen to them because my brain just can't. I have ADHD, so I have no.
Yeah.
I can't. I need to listen. But okay, so tell us, how was your path? How did you end up being with Sean? I know that your daughter was part of it, but how did that happen?
How did I end up with that? Okay, so I had done a spiritual workshop with another lady who it was all about how to connect to your loved ones on the other side, basically, because that was when I was searching for things, right? And this came up. And that lady's still friends. I'm still friends with that group of people as well that was in that in that group. And one of the ladies is one of the ladies of the couple of the paranormal group that I joined before I met Spirit Talker Tribe, or met Sean. So I'm an avid reader. I came across Sean's book, so I started reading Sean's book, and then as I was going through it, it's like I couldn't believe the Me Too moments in the book. And I was like, okay, am I a psychic medium as well? Because there's like so many Me Too's. I got like so many tabs in that book. It's unbelievable. Like this is me, right? And his books are very easy to read. Like they're very easy to read, and his stories they're hilarious. Like some of his stories are hilarious. So then I saw that he was having an event in Halifax, a group reading. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go to this. So I got a ticket and I went. And I just was blown away. Like he's just like the names and the stuff that he gets is like nobody could know this stuff. And I was looking for a mentor of some sort at the time. And it's like, geez, I wish he could be my mentor. Like this, I was thinking,
you manifested him.
And I had him sign my book afterwards and stuff like that. And then I left and went home. And then all of a sudden, his ads started popping up on my Facebook feed for Spirit, that he was starting Spirit Talker Tribe. And it was all about teaching you how to how to smudge, how to pray, how to, like, he starts from the ground up on how to connect to the spirit world, and what you're, through, and basically teaches you what a psychic medium is, right? Not everybody who goes to his course or graduates from his course becomes a psychic medium, but a lot of people go branch out into other things, like they become a Reiki master or energy healer, or they do like tarot cards or oracle cards or that kind of thing. But I mean, they all get something out of it. But I mean, he teaches from the ground up, from basically starting from scratch, from like, I know nothing, right, about opening up to spirit, and walks you through the steps monthly to the process of where you can become a psychic medium, or you can become somebody who puts things, like who what's the word I'm looking for, has some sort of spiritual enterprise, like that does like healing energy or like those types of things, right? And not everybody wants to be a psychic medium. It just so happens that that's where I ended up. Like, I ended up being able to connect to spirit and opening up my abilities to do that. Everybody has the ability to do that. Everybody has the ability to open up and communicate with spirit. And the big thing about that is trust. Like, you have to trust. You have to trust what you're getting. And if a lot of people have trouble with the trust aspect. Is it coming from me? Am I just making this up? Like, but it's
exactly. So, I feel that whenever you're, and I feel that as well, that not trusting yourself is as well because of all the biases, that it's like, no, they're gonna think that I'm crazy. What people is gonna think about me, if I'm right. So maybe those judgments maybe around your circle, that it's not really permitted thinking or feeling or
So I mean, not only he's him and his wife are friends. Like, I'm very good friends with his wife, and like there's a group of us that are really good friends, and then friends with him. He's a mentor, he's a confidant, he's someone to bounce things off of when you need to bounce things off of him. And he is also, like, he's so heart-centered. Like, he doesn't, like, I mean, we're all human, we all have our human things, but he just comes, it's hard to explain how from the heart that Sean comes, and that he is like, he's invested in his students. He's invested in, each and every one of them. Like, and he's invested in what he's doing. And he's just, I can't sing, I guess I can't, be more, I can't recommend him to people more than I do, I guess, because he's just, there's not many people who are as invested in their students in that kind of a spiritual type of thing, as a teacher or whatever, than he is. So he's just like phenomenal. That's I don't know how better to describe Sean, but I mean, it's the teacher appears when the student's ready. So he came for a reason. He came into my purview for a reason, because I'm supposed to learn from him. And so that's basically
that's how it took you to him, right?
I've done lots of other courses with other people. I mean, I've taken courses through he's with Hay House. I've taken courses with Hay House. I've taken courses with the Monroe Institute, Kyle Gray, Colette Baron Reed, Denise Lynn, like lots of courses, small ones, but and John Holland and that kind of stuff, and James, can't remember what his name is right now. Sorry, just kind of
don't worry, don't worry.
But I don't compare them to Sean, but I just
I guess they're different, right?
Different,
they're in a different way, complete.
Each one gives you something different, and you can pick the things from them that you need or want to use. But I've always come back, I'm always drawn back to Sean's teaching and how he teaches it and how he's taught me, because that's what works for me. But the other courses give me a knowledge that I need to maybe look at something in a different way, or add something that I hadn't added before or thought of adding before. or learning different, methods or different concepts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always learning. I love to learn, right? I'm always learning.
Mm-hmm.
But that I'm always drawn more to the way that Sean teaches and the way that he's taught me how to do it than anybody else's. Like, it's not that
Mm-hmm.
any of them are better than the others. It's who you're drawn to, right? Because there's a teacher for everybody.
Yes.
Teach, like,
Because you need to connect as well, right? And
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because maybe at some level, or so maybe at some soul level, you need more of not you need more of this, and maybe that other person can give you more, right? And it's just it doesn't have anything to do with that person, that it's giving you the lessons, right?
Well, spirit brings them into your purview and they bring the lessons to you, so you're supposed to take them, right?
Yeah.
And you know what you're supposed. So you are supposed to, like, how do I say that? When you need something, there's a knowledge that you need. The spirit will bring that teacher to you, so you know that you're supposed to take it. It's a feeling. It's just a feeling, a knowing, without doubt, that you're supposed to take this teaching or this this knowledge from this person. And it has nothing to do with preferring anybody over the other. It's spirit makes sure you get what you need from who you need it, right? So
what is it that you experience, the lessons that you have experienced with him? What is it that you learn from him that has led you to the past, to your path, sorry?
Wow, that's a big question to give a little answer to. But
no, you can give all the answer that you want. Don't worry.
It's just the way that he teaches. He will never teach you something he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. So if he knows it, or he's experienced it, then he teaches it. But if you know that it's coming from a space or place that the knowledge is behind it, right? It's not something he's just pulled from a book. It's not something he's like, and he'll tell you that. Like, he'll just say, if somebody asks about an angel he's never experienced, he has some knowledge of that angel. He'll know the knowledge that he has gained from, like, looking at it. But he says, I've only experienced these angels, and this is what I can tell you about these angels. Okay. So he pulls from things he has experienced or knows. Mm-hmm. And not every teacher does that, right? So so that's where my admiration for him, a lot of it comes from, is because he speaks his truth. He speaks what he knows.
Yes, I was gonna say he is. There's a word for this. What's the word? I can't think of the word, but right now. But it's like he just genuine with his truth, genuine with what he actually knows, and he's just going to share what it's fit with what he is in tune, I guess, right?
And what his guides give him. Like, if there's a question that comes in that he hasn't experienced, his guides will often give him the knowledge or the answer to what he needs to know. But it's like everything comes straight from his own knowledge and experience.
So with all this knowledge that he has passed to you, what is it that you feel more connected with?
Just his general way of practice, like, of being coming from your truth, like speaking from your truth, not going out into the world and passing on knowledge that you have no experience with, or you don't have any understanding from spirit of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with what you were saying about what you have learned with Leonard, I understand that you're saying that you as well, I guess, with his genuine self of telling the truth, you've learned to follow that path where it's like, I'm going to do the same, right? I'm going to do, and I'm going to show, and I'm going to teach with what I have taught, and I want to be able to be genuine. And I'm guessing as well that you are going to, those are your base,
core values.
yes, core values, yes. And then from there, you are growing, right? And you are making your own self of based on that knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that you feel more connected with what you do right now? Paranormal, the readings.
Oh, well, all of them. Like, I mean, I know I've had past life regression before, and I've had Akashic Records readings.
Okay.
And in my Akashic Records reading that I had recently, I was told that I've done past life, like this type of stuff before, past life regression or hypnosis, hypnotherapy, that type of thing before. And my teacher actually said that I'm a natural at it. So it's like she never heard anybody who had taken to it like I had in their first session that I sent to her, right? And I just seem to have the ability to change things in it that need to be for the specific for the person who I'm doing the hypnosis for, right? So and I don't have any, like, I don't hesitate when I'm rewriting things. I know exactly what to put in there. So it's in my past life regressions, I've had past life regressions on other planets. Like I've had past, yeah. So I've had past life regressions back. I've had, there's been with other people that I know now that we've had a group past life, and we were actually a group of people who knew each other back then. Wow. So I've had a few. I'm really interested into getting into the past life regression part of it. Like to do more of them, because it fascinates me. And I love to help people through grief by doing the readings that I do, or help people to get back onto their path. Because I know there are a lot of people out there who need to hear the messages that their loved ones are bringing over to them from the other side, to know that they're okay. And it helps them move on to where they need to be. Because if you live in grief and you don't know where your loved one is, because I mean, I was desperate to find out where mine was, right? Yeah. So I know how that feels, right? So if you need that message to say, I'm okay, the validation of that, yes, you are speaking with your dad or your mom or your sister or your brother or your aunt, your uncle, grandmother, grandfather, whoever it is that you were so attached to in this lifetime that you miss them terribly, that you haven't been able to move through that grief. The grief keeps you stuck. It keeps you from moving to where you need to go, right? So, or being even in a lower vibration than where you need to be in this lifetime. And we are meant to raise our vibration up, like, so that we can speak with our loved ones. And that's how it works. Like, in order for me to speak with someone on the other side, I have to raise my vibration up high enough to meet them who are lowering theirs, because they're in such a higher vibration that we can speak on a level that we are, like, we can both be. Because I can't go up there and they can't come. They can come down here. They do come down here, but I can't go all the way up there, like to that high vibration, right? Yeah. So we live in a very dense, low vibrational place, right? Yes, and that's what he teaches you. Sean teaches you the steps to get to that vibration where you're able to clearly communicate to the other side, right? I just, right now that you're saying about our vibration, that it's so low, again, kind of like brought me back to what one of the things that the Dolores Cannon says is that when when ETs, extraterrestrial, ETs, sorry, I can't say this word, come down, is like to the earth. It's really hard for them to actually be in our vibration, and it takes them time for them to actually get into the same vibration, right? So you can't even harm them. But well, I mean, I know that I'm taking another topic right now. But it just I just wanted to mention that, because it's really interesting, right? That we don't, I guess people really don't have that knowledge as well. And how does that work? Because it's just, vibration, dimension,
Yes,
however you want to
yes,
say it.
yes.
Yeah.
There's so many dimensions, there's so many
Yeah.
vibrations, frequencies, and right, that we
Yeah.
need to start um listening to be more open and to understand more about us, about
Yeah.
universe, about the
Well, if you
whole.
look at it, there's like, I mean, there's so if you want to call it earthbound or astral world or whatever you want to call it, where spirits are stuck or decide to stay when they pass away, that's a low vibrational place as well, right? It's like pretty well one above us, or if you want to, like, in order to try to explain it properly, it may be one above our vibration, right? Which is why a lot of people are still able to see aspirations or see full, like full body images, or like you can see through them or experience the things they experience when hear them, because I've heard them myself, like if you want to call them ghosts or spirits, but they're earthbounds, right? um, that vibration is the next vibration next to ours. So if you want to talk about an ET and vibration, if they are vibrationally way above us, we wouldn't be able to see them anyway. It's like being in a whole different like, I mean, you want to call it dimension or vibration. Even if they were hovering above the earth, right? We wouldn't be able, in most instances, we wouldn't be able to see it because their vibration is so much higher than ours anyway.
And that's when they have to go back to our low vibration. So whenever they want to get in touch with us, or there's such, like, there's a purpose for them to actually deliver a message, or because they are experimenting as well, and just get to know, because we are the only what's I have I have it here in my tongue, but as humans, we have more emotions, right? Species, we are the only species that we have that emotional connection, right? Like, and I know that there as well, there's so many when it comes as well to earth and what they need from our own earth that they don't have in their planets as well, so they have to come as well here, right? Like, there are so many things in how they actually get to approach us to whatever they are, whatever they're trying to either want to give us a message, or they want to experiment and understand more, or like so many things, right?
Assist,
in that way. But coming back again to the paranormal, so how do you help with the paranormal? What is it that you do?
So am with a group, or that we're kind of on sabbatical right now, but with a group that I did paranormal investigations with for quite some time, and they so it's all, again, like vibrational. There's also, when you go to a place to investigate, you may have an earthbound spirit, you may have um, residual energy from something that's happened there, somebody who spent a long time. So say a grandmother was bedridden in a room for many, many years, and that's where she spent a lot of her time or all of her time. You may feel the residual energy of the grandma there, but she might not actually be there in spirit. She could be on the other side. But because she spent like all her time there, you may feel like residual sadness or residual pain or some sort of residual energy from that space and place. It's not always a spirit that's in there, right?
So help us understand a little bit what's the difference between the residual energy and an earthbound, and people that they have transcend to the other side, right? Because another thing that you were saying is that there's a lot of earthbounds here that they are afraid to go to the other side because they are afraid of getting to hell, right?
Yeah. Well, they're not always only just afraid. They don't want to go because they are here stuck. Like, they stay for a reason, right?
Okay.
So, say for instance.
Sorry. So the I feel they can be two kind of fears, right? Because I understand that there are earthbounds that they stay here maybe because maybe not the fear, or maybe because they are worry about leaving a loved one, that what's going to be like,
Yeah.
for example, a mother, and they stay here for their kids to help them
Yeah.
go through there. But the other fear, it's because they don't know, the uncertainty, the unknown.
Unknown, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the unknown. So, okay, so the best way I can explain this is you have earthbounds who don't go to the other side because they're negative energies or were negative in life or did bad things in life. And they want to stay here because they want to stay here because they fear either if they go to the other side, they'll go to hell, or because they don't want to be away from the vices that they had here, alcohol, drugs, whatever, right? That kind of thing, right? So they can still like enjoy those things um, from from the astral world or the
Mm-hmm.
earthbound part of
Mm-hmm.
the
The life that they
spirit,
have
yeah,
here. Yeah.
dimension, yeah. Then you also have the ones who pass over. It could be sudden passover, don't realize they're, right away that they're passed over, or they're stuck. Somebody's in so much grief on this side that they stay because they don't want to leave them, and they feel like they won't be able to connect with them when they go to the other
Mm-hmm.
side. So you'll have several different reasons for why people will stay in earthbound,
Mm.
but for the most part, we when we pass, we transfer over to the other side. So you'll read, like, there's tons and tons and tons of information out there on NDEs.
Mm.
And every experience is basically, there's so many that are different. There's a lot that, are kind of similar, but so many are different. Some will say, well, I went into this light and I went to the other side, and they showed me my life review, and they showed me what I was supposed to be here, and then they sent me back, or I had a choice or to come
Mm.
back or whatever, and I chose to come back for my family for this or whatever. Then you'll have the
But
ones.
they choose to come back as a second uh, life with another, because that's what I know as well, right? That sometimes they come back, and again, saying about one of the things that Dolores Cannon in one of her books says, that sometimes they come back as if they were the brother. Remember, there was one where they were the brother, and then he came back as the son of that person, right?
Reborn, yes. Yeah.
Reborn, and then and that person as well, I think, was transgender or something like that. So there was like there, because he died from a suicide, and he came back to be with the brother as
So yes, they can choose to come back into this lifetime as, a son or a daughter of a son or daughter, or like of a
yeah.
niece or nephew, but that had passed in the family. But what I mean by choose to come back, if you're at your life review, sometimes they'll get, like, if you look at the NDEs that they have out there and the information they have out there on NDEs, they can choose to come back into the same body. Like, they have a choice whether to go stay or whether to come back. They give them the choice on the other side, and some choose to come back, some choose to stay.
Yes.
But and some are made to come back. They're saying, no, you're not done. They're made to come back. But they're like, in that review, they're given, okay, this is what you went there for your life, to achieve in this life path. And you can choose to go back because you haven't quite achieved it yet, and finish this in this lifetime, or you can go back in another lifetime and finish what you didn't finish in this lifetime.
Yes.
And some will choose to come back because they're close to finishing what they're supposed to be finishing, right? So on their path in this lifetime, or what path they have chosen. And usually they come back with knowledge of, things they didn't know before.
Yeah.
But as far as earthbounds go, they it's mostly they choose to stay on the earthbound, like in the negative, because of either they want to be near, or they don't want to go to the other side, they want to be near family, or they want to be near their place, they want to leave their place, like they're attached to their place, they're attached
attachments.
to their
I was gonna say they have a lot of attachments,
attachments, attached to their place, attached to an addiction, attached to this or that, right?
Yeah.
So they'll stay on the earthbound side of it. Now you can move them over into the light if they want to go, if they wish to go. There are people out there who do move people into the light.
Do
or move them.
you help them?
I have done some, yeah. Normally, you just ask them if you would like to go to the other side, or and then there's like a sort of thing you do to help them move to the other side and ask them to come in and open the light for them to go to the other side. And then I've done it with a couple of children that have been kind of stuck here because they didn't want to leave their parents because their parents, So, don't usually do it in a paranormal investigation unless they ask, because they're there for a reason, right? But if they want to go to the other side, definitely we'll cross them over. So,
wow, you have a lot of good things to talk. You have a lot of a beautiful path, a beautiful experience that has taken you towards helping other people and understand you more, understand your daughter, where it comes from. How does it make you feel helping you people in this way, right?
I live every day in gratitude for being able to be in service in the ways that I've been able to be in service to people, like to be able to help people. It's nothing more. There's nothing more. I don't want to say it, just to know that you've helped somebody move through something that they haven't been able to move through on their own, or given messages that have given people, happiness or joy because they were able to have that message that they really needed from the other side. There's nothing better than that. There's no better feeling than that.
To help them go through their own pain, to help them go to a relief of they're going to be okay. You are going to be okay. This has a purpose. I know it's hard, but let's embrace it with love, right?
That's correct. Yeah, because you've been there, you know what it feels like, and to help somebody move through that, or give somebody, a message that just makes them understand that they are always there, like they have never left you, it's what I'm here for. It's what I want to be here for.
Yes.
It's how I want to serve. So
So I'm super happy that we have had this conversation. You can always come back for a second episode. There's so many topics that we can talk about with what you do, with how you help people. Because I feel and I'm really grateful that you're here, because you add another beautiful seed so we can help. And I'm doing this podcast exactly because of that, because this is my I get really emotional always, but this is my way of giving right to world, to give love, to spread love, to
bring awareness.
Yes, to bring awareness too, because we need more people.
Yes, people can't survive the way that they're surviving right now.
Yes, we need more people like you guys, right? To start opening and to have, because this world needs more love, more compassion, more of these ways to see life, because there's beyond our understanding, and we're going to be able to understand until we want to. Right. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming here. And please, if you guys relate to this story, if you want to get in touch with Elaine, I'm going to put all of her socials there so you can reach out to her. If you want reading, a paranormal, paranormal activity.
Not doing paranormal investigations.
Oh, you're not doing it. See, thank you for saying that.
Vanessa is one of the other girls. She's
gonna be here, by the way. So we'll put everything, and I can put as well everything that you do. So you guys don't get misinformation. Like right now, I did. Sorry, I apologize. I want to say something, because I laugh too much, right? And I laugh because I always have this sense of me. First, it's like I'm laughing to myself, and sometimes I laugh to the to, it's like, oh, okay, well, I screwed up, but I'm sorry. Like, I'm not doing it because, right? Like, it's just me being, finding a humor of something I did bad. So
if we can't laugh at ourselves sometimes,
yeah.
who can we laugh at, right?
Yeah. I'm always doing that. So so please don't take it as I'm being disrespectful. It's just me being me, playful with myself. But okay, well, thank you so much for being here. And remember, guys, dare to be us, dare to be you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.